The world is full of traps around every corner, ready to take away your masculine power. Just take a look at every movie or popular Netflix show being promoted or the kinds of people being idolized these days. Nothing escapes the elite's mind control agenda. Men are being brainwashed to accept weakness. There is a very famous story about a lion that I want you to hear. Once upon a time, there was a fierce lion feared by all. One day, the lion fell in love with the farmer's daughter, but there was a problem. The farmer hated the lion, and upon learning of the lion's love for his daughter, he wanted to do everything to stop it. So, the cunning farmer called the lion and said he would only allow him to marry his daughter under one condition: he had to remove his sharp claws for his daughter's safety. The lion thought, it's just a small price for a great reward, and he went to a rock and broke his claws. The next day, he went to the farmer and said, I no longer have sharp claws. Now, give me your daughter's hand in marriage. But the cunning farmer told him to do one more thing, to remove his sharp teeth. The lion agreed to this condition too and broke his sharp teeth. However, when the lion returned to the farmer the next day, the farmer attacked and killed him. This time, the lion had no claws or sharp teeth to defend himself. All that gave strength to the lion, he chose to voluntarily give up, one by one. Remember, brothers, the world you live in today is no different. There are much greater forces at play that have carefully designed the matrix to keep you enslaved to your desires and impulses. And here's the harsh truth: you can blame the farmer or the elites as much as you want, but in the end, it was the lion who chose to willingly obey them. Strength is the virtue that all men must follow, whether in their professional, financial, or romantic lives. Every man naturally desires to feel dominant, strong, and powerful because that is who you are. All men desire a strong sense of purpose. Many of us lack it because we give in to behaviors that prevent us from becoming the strong men we were destined to be. Number 1, mocking others. This is a point that not many people talk about, but as a high-value man, you should never look down on others. Maybe you've heard the example of the crab bucket. When a crab is about to escape from a bucket, other crabs pull it back. If you find yourself mocking others, remember this: you are beneath them, period. Of course, this doesn't mean you shouldn't correct someone for their mistakes, but don't make fun of them. As a man, you need to teach and guide your brothers without resentment or ulterior motives. Remember, strong and confident men don't diminish others. Instead, listen to what Mike Tyson says about it: social media has made you too comfortable disrespecting people without getting punched in the face for it. Number 2, failing to take responsibility. Going back to the story of the lion and the farmer's daughter, the main reason the lion lost everything in the end boils down to not being aware of his responsibility. His responsibility was to live as a lion, and his sharp teeth and claws were part of what made him a lion. But he forgot this responsibility and chose to abandon it. The same happens in your life. Take your responsibilities with pride. Say with me, I will honor my responsibilities with pride because they make me a man. The day you choose to escape from your responsibilities is the day you choose to abandon masculinity altogether. I want you to memorize this quote: the price of greatness is responsibility. Listen again, the price of greatness is responsibility. Number 3, running away from failure. This is a challenge for many men today. Most men always choose comfort over growth. Remember that growth is often hidden behind failure. There's a famous example of a man digging for diamonds. He doesn't know how deep below the surface the diamond is, but he keeps digging. At first, he only sees more dirt every time he digs, but he keeps digging. After a few hours or even days, he finds what he was looking for. So, remember, brothers, failure is not the end. If that's your mindset, you can be sure you'll never succeed in anything worthwhile. Think of anything worth having. Let's say you start a business. At first, you may face so-called failures while trying to learn the business and win customers. But when you stay in the game long enough and don't try to escape those temporary failures, you see yourself growing. The same goes for women. Initially, when you approach them, you may seem like a strange man who doesn't know how to interact. But your success lies behind those temporary failures. This is a small price that a strong man needs to pay for success. We are often trained as children to be ashamed of our mistakes and failures, to try to justify them by blaming someone else. You might have said, "It's not my fault," or "that person is to blame." These are thoughts of a loser. I want you to hear this quote and write it down if you want. It is a weak man who blames his failure on the strength of others. Number 4, submission to feudal laws too easily. Want to know the difference between a coward and a high-value man? It's simple. The coward will always align with the majority, even if what they're saying is clearly wrong. And what's worse, the coward expects the high-value man to also submit to these feudal and harmful laws and regulations. A high-value man always examines and judges everything before deciding to follow. In today's world, we've been so conditioned with the mentality that you shouldn't judge or that you shouldn't do this or that. It's getting out of control. You're just a puppet and a lab rat at this point if you submit to all the agendas and laws they create. There's nothing wrong with obeying, but obey only what aligns with your purpose and mission. Above all, nothing is above the law of the Almighty. Ask yourself if you're someone who easily caves in and tries to please everyone. For some men, it can be incredibly difficult to learn to say no. But if you act based on truth for the first time, you'll realize that the world won't crumble around you. I've seen so many men lead a life of fear in their marriages, as if their wives were some kind of tyrant, and they dare not speak or correct them. This is a clear example of feudal submission. Number 5, weak body language. The concept of body language is very important. This includes nonverbal cues like a firm handshake, eye contact, how you sit, walk, and move when you talk and interact with others. People can tell if you're a strong or weak man by your body language. But the agendas have also targeted strong masculine body language. Be intentional with your body and maintain masculine posture. Remember that your body language is easily the first and easiest way to prevent someone from taking advantage of you. Number 6, wasting your youth. We always talk about the importance of your youthful days on this channel. Your 20s and even your 30s to some extent are what we call the golden days. These are the days when you should build, and build. Think of a farmer who plants a seed. He doesn't expect the seed to bear fruit the next day. In your 20s, just as the farmer plants seeds, you need to plant spiritual, emotional, and physical seeds that will help you grow. But here's the most important part: don't expect to reap those fruits immediately. Just keep planting. Before you know it, you will have planted forests and gardens that attract the right kind of life. By planting, I mean challenging yourself. This doesn't mean you need to work 24/7, but always keep in mind that these are the days when you have the most energy and the opportunity to take the greatest risks. Use it to your advantage. Especially when you're young, you might feel like you're missing out on the culture of being with multiple people by investing in yourself. Resist the urge. You may not understand this now, but as you mature and age, you'll thank yourself for not getting distracted. Listen to what the wisest man on earth has to say about your youthful days. These are the words of Solomon: "Rejoice, young man, in your youth, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. Walk in the ways of your heart and the sight of your eyes. But know that for all these things, God will bring you into judgment." Number 7, being lazy and unproductive with your time. What time do you go to bed, and what time do you wake up? How is your day structured? What do you do when you return from work? These are all questions you need to take seriously. Don't think of them as a secondary task that you can think about when you have free time. As a man striving for success in all areas, you need to carefully plan your day. Think about why the powerful are so successful in building the matrix. Every aspect and area was carefully planned. Similarly, think about every part of your day, the people you surround yourself with, the content you consume. If you don't have the right thoughts in your mind, be sure you've given the matrix an open door to infiltrate you. Laziness is the greatest enemy of men today. As a man, you may have many business or life-related thoughts, but you'll never act on them if you allow laziness to gradually seep in without realizing it, devouring and hindering you from moving forward productively. Always be aware of laziness and tackle it as soon as possible. So remember, brothers, weakness is the virtue of modern society. Weakness is what they pursue. But strength is your greatest virtue. Seek strength in every opportunity and remember that God is your greatest strength. And don't forget to show your support by clicking the subscribe button and giving a like for the algorithm to understand that the video is good and recommend it to more people. Stay on the screen and watch the videos that appear here now. Until next time.